Good evening, friends. I'm Stephen Benoon. You're watching Israeli News Live, and we have a lot of things going on this evening that we're going to be speaking about here. Starting off with the U.S. Embassy in Greece has come under attack by rioters. This being posted on Twitter by the Syrian girl, showing firebombs and everything being lobbed there at the U.S. Embassy in Greece. Just attacks against the U.S. are beginning to be sparked all across the world, and I'm afraid we're going to see more and more of this. But it's to bring about a new world order. There it is. Syrian girl there on her Twitter page posted this today, so we appreciate the fact that she shared that. Also, Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu is saying that Tel Aviv, Israel has a historic opportunity to annex Jewish settlements in the West Bank, and Israel must jump at the opportunity come July. That's July 1st, that is. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Monday, for the first time since 1948, there is a historic opportunity to apply sovereignty in an agreed upon fashion. Says here, as diplomatic sovereign act of the state of Israel and Judea and Samaria, Netanyahu told a group of Likud lawmakers at a faction meeting using the biblical term for the West Bank there. I'll kind of blow this up a little bigger for you guys so I know you can see it. I continued on to say, here, Yisrael Beitenu, leader Avigdor Lieberman, who is a staunch supporter of Trump administration's peace plan, has also pressured Netanyahu to go ahead with the annexation. He said, if we don't do it now, it won't happen. Trump's plan would also see the demilitarization of the Palestinian state established on most of the West Bank and with parts of eastern Jerusalem that are outside the Israeli security fence as its capital. Of course, there was an economic package of $50 billion offered to the Palestinians if they would agree with such a deal. Also, a sad bit of news. About 2 weeks ago, this little girl right here, 4-year-old Palestinian girl, has died of her wounds. She was shot in the head by a stray bullet as she sat at dinner with her family. And it is a big debate as of whether or not she was killed by Israeli military or a stray bullet in the West Bank there, because the family does near close to the wall. The family says that it was a stray bullet coming from the other side of the security fence there that Israel has. The bullet that was removed from her skull was that of an M16. Which is a weapon used by Israeli military police, one of the weapons that is used by the Israeli military police. It is an American-made assault rifle. So this is one of the reasons why the family believes that it could have been the Israelis that had a stray bullet, not that she was shot intentionally. Continuing on with what we have going on here, let's look at a few other things as well. This particular Instagram that was also posted over on Twitter, this man right here did an amazing job of showing that instigators inside of the peaceful protest, now not all the protests are peaceful, but he clearly shows some amazing evidence here. And I'm going to go into this here in just a little bit about those people that were involved in setting a police car on fire. He notes that the police car is quite a bit older, and I'm noticing that it's not changing on the screen like I thought it would. Okay, hang on one second. But anyway, he notes in here how that there was an older police car that was just left sitting there, but he watched the events unfold and then later analyzed it. But even while he was watching what was happening, he realized, very, very thorough investigative man here, realized that these were agitators that were sent in. And one person even notes that it's only white people involved in doing this. It wasn't even black people involved. So we're going to play that here at the end of the broadcast. So I'll come back to that here in just a little bit because I really want to share this with you guys. And just an amazing job. I don't know if Dion Cole is the one, if that's his channel there, but nonetheless, we'll play that video, and so you can see that in just a few minutes here. Let's continue on though before we get into that. Also, the rioting. Rioters are even entering into the homes of people now. This is in Washington, D.C., and as you can see, the looters and stuff, rioters, are coming up into homes. And this guy is telling the guy, no, 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 don't come into my house. But we are hearing other reports of this going on as well. People, they're coming into the homes. People are being beaten and things like that. Very sad situation that is going on. George Floyd, by the way, the arresting officer that was charged with third-degree murder, and manslaughter. They did later up that charge to second-degree murder, which I kind of thought was pretty ridiculous. For the simple reason is if you charge him with second-degree murder and they can't prove it, is he going to end up walking free? Manslaughter, I can see where they could make that stick. But if you end up charging him second-degree murder and he's acquitted on that, that'll just turn the nation into a kindling fire for even more riots to come at the end of that trial. Also today, a 5.7 magnitude quake in Southern California has struck. This is over here I saw this on Twitter. This is from the EMSC Quake Center there. They're showing that information there. It says 4 minutes ago. It's been about an hour ago now, but a 5.7 magnitude earthquake. It's a moderate earthquake, but still, it can shake the earth pretty good at 5.7. I've been in a 4.6, so that's 10 times stronger than a 4.6, so I can only imagine what that's like. Also, there's been a lot of news being reported, including NBC News has been reporting about asteroids that are going to be coming by the Earth here this week. 5 asteroids are going to be cruising by the planet, which kind of gives a little bit of credence to what I've been saying to you guys. Oh, I said it to you a few months back when it was shared with me from Inside Intelligence, that we're going to be hit by what I called a meteorite belt. So it seems like there's something else going on. Whether or not this is man-made, whether this is ETs, entities out there creating this strike on the Earth or not, it's hard to say. But I leave all options open as the possibility. But we're talking about 5 asteroids cruising by the Earth. For the most part, they're a good distance off, millions of miles away. But one of those asteroids is not that far away, only 319,000 miles. Of course, not in danger of hitting the Earth, but the big one is, I think, about 3 million miles away, about the size of the Empire State Building, that's going to be flying past, all of them flying past this week. And of course, as I shared with you guys a couple of months ago, we are going to be pummeled by some type of debris hitting the Earth here. Well, now I was saying about within the year, between 6 months and a year and a half, but that time frame is changing as time moves on. So now we're seeing that the news is reporting up to 5 rocks flying past the Earth. What's going to happen when the ionosphere breaks down, which shields us from a lot of this debris flying past the Earth? That one, in fact, is supposed to be flying just past the moon there at just a little over, 319,000 miles away, is just outside of where the moon flies at. So that ought to be one that we see very easily, in fact. Also, too, 5G, the technology of 5G. This here was on NextGov. Actually, somebody had sent this to me on Twitter, I believe it was, so I appreciate you sending that to me. But anyway, it states here that the 7-page policy document sets forth President's vision for America to lead the development. Let me blow this up because I need you to be able to see this. Vision for America to lead the development, deployment, and management of secure and reliable 5G communication infrastructure worldwide, arm in arm with its closest partners and allies. Its release marks President Trump's initial move to meet the requirements laid out in the Secure 5G and Beyond Act, which he signed Monday. The new law directs the president to produce a strategy to ensure security of the next generation wireless communication systems infrastructure. Well, 5G is also a weapon. By the way, that's security cameras that we're seeing being deployed in and around new security cameras being deployed, as they're also deploying 5G technology towers everywhere, especially when you get around this area here, the Millennium Mall area in Orlando. These towers, as you can see there on your screen, are just popping up everywhere. They're really strange looking. This one right here, though, happens to be there on the interstate, or actually one of the toll roads there. So it's actually set higher, designed a little different, but for the most part, all pretty much the same. But then again, 5G technology, as you can see here, 5G technology is something that is used in wartime. As they show you right here, giving you an animated imagery of that. It shows here, using that, targeting people in crowds causes a burning sensation on the skin. We know of somebody personally that actually experienced such effects over in Eastern Europe from 5G cellular towers, burning of the skin, and it looked like a sunburn, in fact. So this weapon operates at 95 gigahertz waves. 5G will operate on the same frequency. Now, a U.S. weapon that relies on the capability of this electromagnetic technology to induce unpleasant burning sensations on the skin as a form of crowd control is being rolled out. Imagine what's going on, especially right now in downtown Orlando, as these people begin to riot, and which oddly enough did bring one thing to mind. Those towers that I showed you the pictures of just moments ago, let me just pull this up. There was a Krispy Kreme in Orlando that was attacked, and let's put on there Floyd and riots. Maybe that'll bring that one up right there for you. Let me pull up images there. I should have took the pictures of it while I was down in that area. Here it is right here, but I figured I could probably find it on the internet. The windows were knocked out in the Krispy Kreme, and then also right next to that there was also another store there that most all the windows were completely knocked out. But oddly enough, this is in the same area directly across the street where these 5G towers are. And there you go right there. There's one of those 5Gs. I'll kind of bring it over here so you can see it a little bit better. Right across the street. Could they be using it to kind of incite the crowds even more? I don't really know, but it is a thought to consider. All right, let's double back over here to Instagram there, to Dion Cole's channel there, and let's listen into this video here, this man and what he has to say.
Yo, what's up? Yesterday I was at the protest in Los Angeles, and I saw the cop car that got lit on fire by people that weren't part of the protest, and I tweeted it out how it was staged and how people that were part of the protest did not have anything to do with that, and my tweet went viral, and I just broke down the video, and I want to show you guys how I know that it was staged and that those people were not a part of the protest. Alright, this is a very important screenshot of the video right here. We see three of the characters involved. The woman in the purple backpack, the lady in the yellow hat, and the guy that's fully wrapped that lit the car on fire. I replayed this clip over because in the background you can hear somebody saying, "Why is it all white guys though?" This is a very important screenshot here because it looks as though the lady in the yellow is talking to the man that lit it on fire. Throughout the whole video, it doesn't look as though they are operating as a team. However, if you look really closely, you can see them communicating with each other because they go systematically in order. And here you can see the other person that lit the car on fire, for some reason, leaving it to the crowd. Of course he comes back. That was spray painting earlier. You can see her backpack on her back and the top of her head, and you see a bottle in the air. She's throwing the bottle. She's the first one to start setting it off. closely, you can hear me say, wait, that's an old sticker? I'm looking, I'm being aware, and I'm already starting to get suspicious. So after slowly trying to get people to join in and partake, it doesn't work. So what do? Step 2, take it to the next level. I think it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Alright, yo, so this is my first time literally ever at a protest, and I'm sitting here watching it live, and you can hear me. I say, it doesn't make sense. So immediately, whenever the car starts getting smashed, we got my boy that's never skated a day in his life running in to smash the windows, which they need to smash so that they can spray the lighter fluid or gasoline inside the car. And this right here is what I mean when I say they're a team. The two skateboarders at the same time come from different sides, and they're swinging their skateboards at the exact same time. And immediately once the glass gets shattered, we have the woman throwing the water bottle into the car, which is lighter fluid, and then we have the man that lit the car on fire returning back to the scene to light the car on fire. And look at the guy that's inside the car. You'll see what he's doing at the end of the video. Alright, if you look closely, you can see everybody that is really involved in this. You can barely see their eyes. We have the guy lighting the car on fire. You can't see his eyes. We have the other guy in the corner of the screen. You can't see his eyes. He's throwing a rock. These guys are for sure together. And look who returns, the woman that started it all. She was the first woman to spray paint the car, throw something at the car, then she comes back with lighter fluid to help them get it on fire. And after successfully getting the car lit on fire, he runs away. But the man that lit the fire, he comes back, if you can see him right there in the distance. And as fast as it started, they all get out of there. That car doesn't make any sense. Yo, there's this cop car right here that they just lit on fire, but this cop car looks old. This cop car is not a new cop car. This cop car was just here. This cop car is not a new cop car. This is an old cop car.
I think you guys get the point of what you're seeing here, and this man really did an excellent job in bringing that out. And once they get everything started, once they instigated everything, they all leave. And what do? They leave everybody else holding the bag. They leave all the regular protesters there as the people that are the guilty parties, to make them look like they're the ones involved in it. I'm not going to say, though, that other people don't get involved as well, but they are using agitators to get the thing going really bad. And, you know, this is what's really sad. People are falling for this. We've said over and over and over, we've encouraged the black community, or anybody for that matter, not to participate in these protests because it's a setup. It is a complete setup, and I am so concerned for the safety of the American people that are getting involved in these protests. And there are protests that are peaceful. There are people that are trying to protest, show their support for what they believe took place with Mr. Floyd. And I know that there's a lot of debates on that as well. Did he actually die? Was it staged? Was it set up? Listen, I'm seeing both sides of this, so I do understand that completely. But at the same time, I also realize that even if it weren't to be staged, if it was a real act, which there's a lot of suspicion around that, capitalizing on bringing more mayhem, more destruction to property and to human lives. And the end of all this is what is going to be done. And my video was taken down a few days ago. We had to put it over on Patreon because I went back in time and showed you guys the evidence. And I've reported on this now for years that these things were coming. It is only a matter of time before you won't see it to where people are arm in arm, because a lot of the black community realizes there are instigators coming in that aren't even black people. They realize that something's wrong. I've seen other video footages where the black people oust some of the white people out of the protest because they are starting things that they don't want pinned on them. It's a setup, guys. It's a complete setup. They want to bring about. They're wanting to bring about anarchy. They're wanting to bring about some type beyond riots to justify martial law, but they want to be able to disarm the nation. And as I was told already from those in Israeli intelligence, that if they can't get the American people to riot, then they will use limited nuclear strikes to bring even more mayhem. So it's only a matter of time. I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Thank you for watching.